All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tea Time with Lady D. My name is Deveva. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And I wanted to introduce you to our special guest, Jenlene Nowak. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly.
Yep, you got it. Hi, how are you?
So Jenlene is the owner of Mizz Mozaic Creative Catering, right? Did I say
Cater
that correctly?
creativity. Yep.
Creativity. Um, So I just wanted to kind of go over how we met. And I'm sorry that I'm trying not to touch my eyes, but my allergies are just over the roof right now. So
I know
um,
it's rough.
yeah, this area definitely in Virginia, it can get really bad this time of year. So I just wanted to talk a little bit how we met, which is very unique, which has nothing to do with any of our like creative kits or I guess tea parties, but we'll share that. And then I'd love to know, how you started your business and, what type of services that you have. So it's just kind of letting people know what we're going to talk about for the next 30 minutes or so.
Great.
So I did want to start off. Are you drinking any tea today?
I am drinking tea. I have it here. I actually went into my cupboard and got out my favorite tea, and I bought it when I was in Paris because I first had it when I was in Paris. And I'm probably not even saying it right, but it's like Mariage Freres. And it's called Marco Polo, and it's like a fruity and flowery black tea. I don't know if you could
I
see
love
it,
the
but
canister. Yeah.
yeah, it's really pretty and it's so good. And I had it at a restaurant, and then I looked at the little, the little tag on the tea
Mhm.
bag, and we realized that it was close to where we were. And so we walked, and they had this beautiful store. So
Oh,
this is my
nice.
last
I
canister. I have
love
to go
it. And
back.
how long ago did you go to France?
Oh, geez. I believe that trip was probably 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wait, maybe
Okay.
it was 10. Yeah. But then I went back since and I got more. But I'm running low.
Yeah, I could hear. It's time. So, do they have online ordering, you think, at
Oh
this
yeah, I'm
point?
sure they do. But
Yeah.
I just want to go back. So
Right, right. An excuse to go buy. I need to buy more tea.
it's a good excuse. I mean, not like any of us are traveling anywhere anytime soon. So at least I can
Right.
go back by having a cup of tea, right?
Yeah. So I'm drinking, actually, I haven't had a tea tail, which is the tea infused cocktails that's infused with tea. So I call them tea tails.
Oh, okay.
So I am using Rachel, her Eldon Street. It's a mix of hibiscus and silver needle. And I have from um, Juices and Berries Apothecary their rose cognac. So if you can see
Oh,
this, it's a
that looks
beautiful
awesome.
like red color. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. And I
it's
love your
nice
cup.
and cooled out. Yeah, so that's part of my new collection, the distressed glasses, and it comes with these really pretty. They're not really saucers, but like dessert. So you could have a punch, or yeah, I love the design on them. So that was something that I had just recently bought. So,
Oh,
cheers.
cheers.
No one's. I didn't really have to share this part, but I really do need. I'm glad this is a tea tales a little bit stronger because we had, let's see, what time is it? Probably almost an hour just trying to connect online.
Technical difficulties, but we're here drinking
But
our
we're
tea and
here,
relaxing
yes.
now.
So let me just share with everyone. So as I mentioned, Rachel, and there may be some folks that don't know who Rachel from Eldon Street Tea Shop is. So Rachel's the owner. It's a tea shop that's open in Herndon. And I used to have a couple of friends that lived in Herndon. I worked there many years ago, kind of like a family support worker. So I would drive around to different homes. But since I met Rachel, and the town of Herndon is probably one of the examples of just it's like a true community supporting each other, even before all of this happened, like the small businesses and all of the community places where they will hold events or do collaboration. So I've always really admired that because it's the past 2 years that I've been, working with Rachel in her collaborations. And that's how I got to meet you through
Right.
the tea shop, because we started doing a couple of murder mysteries, and
Right.
it was our Miss Fisher and
Right.
Rachel and I never really realized how hard it was to get um, actors that were adults or someone that was interested in doing them. So we already had set the date as probably 3 months and then 2 months. I'm like, Rachel, I'm having a really hard time connecting with someone that I had talked to a year previous.
Right.
We did a Mad Men. So she asked a couple of folks, and then she's like, I have the perfect person. So I'm like, okay, this is it. We'll go with Jenlene. So we got to meet. So
Right.
you was so gracious to be our Miss Fisher for the murder mysteries, and you
And
did
I
it
wore
2
this
times.
dress and
Yes, I thought I recognized
a
that.
little tie back.
Yeah, so we were just talking in the back, and then and so I was, oh, how do you know Rachel? And then you started talking about your business and things. So that's kind of where it went from there. And then when you had
Right.
your pop up at the store, and I love crafts, and I think I had mentioned that I with my chipped teacups that I'm beginning to have. I've been wanting to do some stepping stones for my garden outside that, actually I'm maybe be able to do that project now that I
Right.
kept on putting to the wayside.
Yep.
There should be no excuses now. But yeah, so I just thought that it would be great to have you on the tea time, just so you can show us a lot of the kits that I can see behind, little projects
Sure.
that you can do at home, and also the different pop-up locations. There's different projects like this that you can do too. So,
Right.
right. So let's get started. When did you start your business? Like what inspired you to do
Sure.
this?
Well, I officially started it about a year and a half ago. I became Ms. Mosaic, LLC. But I've been making mosaics for going on like 17 years now. I started making them. It was really kind of random. I lived in Arlington, and there was this little mosaic studio that popped up, kind of like a paint your own pottery place.
Mhm.
And I kept walking past it, and then I went in and I made a project, and then they were looking for part-time employees, and I got hired, and then I ended up becoming the manager of the store, and I learned all sorts of stuff about mosaic making. It was super fun and cool, and really one of the best parts was meeting all the awesome people that are drawn to this sort of a thing. You meet a
Yeah.
lot of cool people that way. And then I started teaching classes for Arlington County community learning and Alexandria and all sorts of stuff. So eventually the owner closed, but I continued to teach. And then people were coming to me for private classes and, events and stuff. So I was like, I want to jump in and just start my own business. And here I am today.
I love it. Yeah, so things have been moving really fast for you in the past year and a half.
Oh,
And
very.
obviously I follow you on social media. I love all of like the wineries. There's like different community centers that you'll do pop-ups. And I think the whole concept of pop-ups, just like the traveling tea party, it's nice to have different locations and be able to provide that experience. And the good thing is that you get to take your project home,
Right.
right, with this. Because usually how long does it take if it was a pop-up somewhere?
So usually it's about 2 hours,
Okay.
and mosaic making is a two-step process. So you'll learn how to design and use mosaic tools to cut tile, and then glue it down with adhesive, and then you have to let that dry. So
Right.
that's the experience you get in person, with me and all the people, at whatever pop up we're at. But then you get a little grout takeout kit, and then you get to do the second part at home. So it's really neat to be able to have that social experience together, and
Yeah.
then going home, you still get to do a little art and have a creative outlet. But it's always nice to just go home with something.
With
And you,
something, yeah.
yeah, people love going home with something, and you don't have to grout it. I mean, it may just be that you like it the way it is, and that's totally fine too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's neat.
Yeah, I love it. And I love seeing your posts with all of the colors and the decorating too. So
It's fun.
so before like we start talking about because this is a temporary situation that we're in, and
Right.
where you had kind of left off and started, if you could kind of go over with everyone what are the types of kits that you're offering now. So this is either delivery with certain um, radius, and then
Right.
also shipping. So if you could kind of go over that. And I don't know if you can hear my dog Chloe. She is scratching on the door to come in. So I'll let you get started while I open the door
That's
for her.
amazing. Look,
Okay.
Chloe is. Yes, so I actually have some kits that I've created, and I've been delivering them locally recently, especially during the Easter holiday and spring, and so obviously we're moving on to Mother's Day. So our next kit is a sun mirror, and it's really cool because everything is included in it. And I'll give you I'll show you what's in it. So with this kit, you get a mirror, and it has a nice hook on the back, or an area to hook it onto a wall. So it's a nice wall mirror. And then you get all of the tiles you need to create the design. So you get a bag of those. And then you get grout and you get glue. And then this kit even comes with some paintbrushes and paint so that you can paint the edge. You don't necessarily have to paint the edge. You can leave it as is. But that's my newest one for Mother's Day. Of course, you can get any of my kits at any time. It doesn't just have to be this one. But I have another smaller one. This is just one I did, and you can see like I didn't even do anything on the side, and it still looks nice.
Yeah.
But that's just like the mini version of this. So I'm doing like a mom in mini maker sort of kit.
Oh,
so
that's
that,
cute.
yeah, if moms and their little ones want to make one, or moms and dads or anybody, they can do a little bit of they can do a big one and a little one.
Okay. Yeah, I love that idea. And I love with so when my boys were younger, they used to love crafting. And since I love crafting, and if I needed them to unwind, I would just give them a craft, some sort of craft project to work on. And it was
Yeah.
just like the zen time. So I like that this is both for boys and girls and everyone in the family that can do this. So I do love these kits that you have. So as far as so are you planning to have different types of kits based on the season that we're in, or do you have already online different ones that you can just choose from?
Yep. So I have different ones you can choose from, and I'll change them up. Like for instance, for Easter, I had little peeps and bunnies and stuff, and little carrots and Easter themes. So like I took those down and I added some new ones. But yeah, there's a lot of them that stay the same. But I like to keep things fresh, and I really love to see how people create and what they create, because I may show a sample and then they do something completely different, which is awesome. And that's what you want. So it's really neat to see how people put their own spin and interpretation on their project.
Their project.
Yeah, it's neat. And it's totally zen. You can't really explain it until you have someone do it. And then they're like,
Right.
oh yeah, where did 2 hours go? I can't believe it went by so fast. Because it's just, and it's not, I always say you don't have to be creative or artistic, because you're just gluing pieces down onto a surface, and there's something meditative about it. It's just kind of like doing something with your hands and making something. So it's really fun.
Yeah. And when you put the pieces together, I know that doing the craft projects that I'll do, you can already distinguish the ones that will take the longest time and probably the last ones to finish their project, because they really want to have like a specific pattern or the way that it's set up. And then you'll have some that are just randomly putting it that still looks great, doesn't have to be everything symmetrical. But I think that's really interesting how you get to see the personalities when you're doing like a live craft project or art project.
It is so true. I always say I can tell who is very abstract and who and kind of artistic, and then the people that are very analytical. So like
Yeah.
people that may be accountants or working in math or doing something, you know, it just the personality comes out. But
Out.
I'll never
Yeah.
say anything at the beginning because I don't want anyone to get in their own head and worry about it.
Right.
But like some people are drawn to very geometric shapes and they want everything to be very neat. And then there's other people like me that's just like, woo, let's just go for it. And that you know, it's not right or wrong. It's just different.
Yeah. I don't know. Chloe's being extra needy. I think she wants to be
She's
fed
so
earlier.
cute.
Our whole eating schedule for Chloe is just all thrown off because we're all home all day. So
Yeah.
So let's see. So before, I know that you had some other like different locations that you had for pop-ups. So once this is all over, like I keep on saying, this is temporary.
Right.
You know, what kind of locations are you going to be, you know, going to? And what was the next thing I was going to ask? Oh, and to talk about your private events, like for example, with Rachel, she's getting married this year, and we were going to do the bridal shower kit.
Right.
So just kind of talk about private events or like birthday parties and things.
Okay.
Go to their
Yeah.
home.
So before everything happened, I was just trying everything out, and I really enjoyed, like we talked about, the pop-up events at wineries, and I have events at the Herndon's Senior Center down the street. I had people come here to my home studio, you know, did parties and, you know, celebratory events. And I was invited to Facebook DC to do one of their corporate team building events. So that was really cool.
Oh,
So
nice.
I hope that, you know, things will go back to that, but I don't anticipate that happening anytime soon. Just because, you know, we just don't know where this new world is going to take us.
Right.
But I feel like in the interim, there's lots of opportunity to do video classes, and I've been having a lot of fun, you know, talking to people and teaching virtually. So at least that's, you know, that's an option.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, in terms of the private events, so our friend Rachel, Rachel, she, you know, she was going to have her bridal shower. So Deveva was going to be doing, you know, the tea party portion. And then I was going to come in and do stepping stones where everybody would work together to create stepping stones for Rachel and for her, you know, her backyard. So it's fun with mosaics because you can really adapt them and customize them pretty much for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So it's fun. They're just so different and unique.
Yeah. So I really liked. So that's a really good example of. So for the bridal shower, well, she wanted something that was a hands-on activity that she could keep as a keepsake afterwards, and the space that we had, it really was kind of a tight space. So to be able to have, for example, like one of your pop-ups, for them to have each their own stepping stone and doing this, one, we didn't have the space, and then two, we didn't really want it to be taken away from the bridal shower. So I really loved how you were able to come up with a way to do it so that it's something on the side, but something they could work on and, you know, kind of focus back on the shower. So that's a really good thing that you can customize. So something that you would think that's not the main focus of what the party or get together is about, but it's something on the side that you can do. So
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, I was part of, I was invited in to be the activity for a reunion weekend at American University. And it was really cool because there was a lot going on. I mean, this was a reunion weekend. So people hadn't seen each other in years. And then they had delicious food stations and they had a DJ. And then it was a fraternity and sorority event. So there were different dance challenges and things going on. But we had 2 mosaic stations on either side of the room, and people were able to pop up and like make a little keychain or a little trinket to take home. And it was just for the people that were drawn to it. Like nobody that, you know, no one had to feel stressed that they had to make something. And it was in the periphery of the room. So if you saw it and you were drawn to it, like I'm drawn to bright stuff, so I would be like all over it, you know, like, yeah, baby, I'm going to do that. But like some people are like, no way, I am not crafting, I am not artistic, I am here to have some mimosas and visit you know. So it is a fun way to just, it's very easy and it's fun and I
Yeah,
love
I love
it.
that. So, so what are your plans? I know you had said the Zoom and that sort of thing. I think you probably don't want to share much, but I did see the post about doing some sort of like family heirlooms, being able to do those kind of projects.
Oh
Is that
yeah.
something you're going to share? Maybe not
Oh
today,
yeah.
but soon.
Yeah. So I've had people come to me because they now have time, just like you were saying you wanted to do stepping stones. Um, and there's one woman in particular that got in touch with me, and she has a project in her yard, and it is a very specific thing that she wants done. So I've been working with her to come up with a plan and to use some plates and like found objects that she has that she wants to integrate into this mosaic. So it's been really neat to work with her. So I will definitely be posting about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because I was actually thinking of, because I know there's a method of, yeah, you just can't keep on banging, or even if you have it in something to protect it, because like you had mentioned, it gets powdery and then
Yeah.
it's not really good pieces. So if anything, I may drop off the teacup so you can properly do it, and then just take it back and just do it myself at home or something.
Yeah,
That may
I'd be
be an
happy to show you.
option.
Yeah, there are ways to actually cut. I'll actually show you one. I
Okay.
may have shown you this at the tea shop, but this
Okay.
is if you can see it,
Yeah, the
it's you see
flower.
the brown polka dots,
Uh-huh.
those are actually plates. So
Oh.
there's a way to cut plates so that you can mosaic with them, but you'll
Mhm.
notice like with a plate or a teacup, they're rounded, so they're
Right.
not going to be flat. So there are ways to cut them so that you can use them. And
Okay.
the mosaics that we typically do, it's called direct method. So you're directly putting pieces on a surface. But they look really cool. And
Mhm.
if you see any beautiful plates or china anywhere that may be broken or or there's not a complete set, they really do make beautiful projects.
Yeah. Yeah. So, excuse me. So if it's something like the stepping stones, what do you recommend to seal it with so that it can be, stay outside and not get faded? I don't know after time if the color would start getting faded or not.
Yeah, and there's different ways to do stepping stones. There you can buy like a paver. You'd see them at Home Depot, or bricks, and you can
Mhm.
mosaic direct method right on top, and then you can
Okay.
put grout on it. You can use a grout sealant.
Oh,
But you do have to be careful, just because weather, especially in Virginia, it gets really humid in the summer, and it
mhm.
and it gets damp in the winter, so you have to worry about moisture getting in and stuff like that. So I do say that if you have a stepping stone that you really like and it's extreme temperature, bring it in. But there's
Okay.
other ways where you get a mold and you can do the indirect method where you kind of lay your pieces down and then you pour cement in.
Okay.
So I made my mom one of those, and she lives in Western New York, near Buffalo. And eventually, it has a lifespan, especially if
Yeah.
you don't bring it inside. But then on the
Yeah.
flip side, my mom made a house number, and she's never put a sealant on it, and it's protected underneath our porch, and
Mhm.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing's
Yeah,
happened to
I
it. So
think that's what I may do with some of them. I mean, they're just ones that I've collected through the
yeah,
years, but if it was like a personal, like I have a couple of my aunt's teacups here, I would probably want it somewhere where it's like a porch or something,
yeah,
or on the
where it's
deck, which
protected.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't get as much of the natural elements from outside.
right.
So,
Right. So it
I,
does depend on the wood you use and if it's
mhm,
treated and if it's warped or not, or there's lots of factors. So
factors.
I always give my 2 cents to people, and then there's a certain, after a
Mhm.
while you have to kind of just be careful.
Yeah. So is there anything you wanted to share as far as, I know you said there's to go. So right now you have some Mother's Day project kits, right, to take home. And then I'm assuming some things during the summer. You'll have some things that people will be able to like, but you still have the kits available.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Just
So
in
right now I'm
general.
sending out kits and I'm mailing them and I'm delivering them. And I have, I can talk to you about or anybody about any special projects. I do have one of a woman I met at the tea shop. She came in for Craft Tea Thursday. She really got hooked on mosaics. And so she's doing trays and other things. And then actually, two more people from the tea shop, they bought some tables they got at a thrift store and they wanted to mosaic the top. So I'm also delivering supplies to people. We just kind of see what they need, find out what their favorite colors are, and then I just drop it off and we Zoom or we talk on FaceTime.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I probably will do that. Have you do the whatever, the cutting or banging, the real process, give it back and then show me on Zoom how to place them.
No, I'm going to have you do the cutting. I'm going to drop off we're going to get you the nippers. That's the fun of it.
Yeah. And now that you're telling me about, the elements and what you're putting on, I think I'll have to bring them in at some point and then take them back in and out. Without my husband seeing me, because he's already like, when are you going to start, decluttering more? So if I start making more things and then bringing them in, like, it's not going to be a happy conversation.
No, it's fun. It's fun to actually do something and then it's not sitting in a box. You're looking at it.
Right.
And the other thing is like, there's a lot of special stuff that you want to keep, but there's also stuff you've probably collected and maybe it's not so sentimental. Why not do something with it? It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It can literally be a cathartic, creative experience, and that's what I think a lot of people get hung up on, the fact that, I'm not artistic and it's gonna look yucky, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like there's stuff that I love that other people are probably like, what? How would you like that? So I just say go for it.
And I think that's definitely how we connect and relate, because it's all about the experience. Like, yes, there's, some things are an end product, but, we definitely see each other eye to eye, like with Rachel. It's like a tea experience and then throwing something interactive in there too.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know if you had anything else before we finish our tea today.
I think that's it. But if anyone is interested, they can find me at Mizz Mozaic on social. That's my, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
with the Z's.
That's
I
love your logo.
Coaster. My coasters are for the top of the cups, though, so the tiles don't get in your drink.
Oh. I love it. So,
but thank you so much, Deveva, for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be connecting with you soon. So, with that project.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Jenlene.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.